I'm going to discuss David Benatar. It's in this book, better never to have been. Why the harm of coming into existence. Now, I am myself not a anti-nihilist at all, but I am reading this, and it's very, very interesting. And I want to just think about, there's something in the second chapter. First of all, he discusses how coming into existence can be a harm, and then he goes on to argue how it is always a harm. First, it can be a harm because of the fact that he gives a certain argument about why it can't ever be a harm, and then he goes against one. He kind of picks out the first premise of that argument, and the first premise of that argument, which this whole argument leads to the conclusion that existing cannot ever be a harm. The first premise of the argument, though, is that for something to harm you, it has to be worse off, and that worse off is a relation between two states. But Benatar responds by saying that it just has to be bad to harm you, just bad, and that's why And then he also infers, he discusses how life always has bad in it. There's always pain in it. There's suffering in it. That's always the way it is. He points that out. Now, is there ever a life without pain? No. There's never ever a life without pain ever. And there's pleasure and there's pain. And what he does in this book, for one thing, is he gives he talks about lives worth living and lives not worth living at all. And he states there to be some ambiguity in this, and that he takes that and puts that into two cases, or two senses. One is the future life sense, lives worth starting, or lives not worth starting, and in the present life case, lives worth continuing and lives not worth continuing. Now, the big issue here is our lives worth starting, or are they not worth starting? Lives worth continuing is a different sort of issue, and he goes on and he talks here about how people will talk about cases in the future life sense through the lens of the present life case, and vice versa, which will get the arguments messed up, and will sort of not argue in that it will argue against anti-nihilism in the wronger ways, and sort of attack anti-nihilism in ways that are just that are not true. And then he also talked about Joel Feinberg and Derek Parfit, who argue that this distinction is wrong, and then he also argues against that. But what I'm most interested in this chapter has to do with the asymmetries between pleasure and pain. Now he talks about the cost benefit analysis of the cheerful, which is, I'm gonna take the pleasure and the pain, and I'm gonna weigh those two, and whichever one outweighs the other, that determines whether life is worth living or not. Now he talks about how pleasure and pain are not symmetrical at all, and that how you cannot look at non-existence and then look at existence because of pleasure and pain and say that existence will be better in any case. And for one thing, he makes these little matrices and stuff like that. Let me find them. Here we go. Here's one. Okay. Scenario A: X exists. Presence of pain, bad. Presence of pleasure, good. X never exists. Absence of pain, good. Absence of pleasure, not bad. And then he has a variation over here, which says that absence of pleasure is bad. And that is debatable. He actually debates that in here. And then he has other matrices here too. And then he has one by Christian Fega and also by Sienna Schifrin. Presence of pain, bad. Presence of pleasure, good. Absence of pain, good. Presence of pleasure, not bad. And then he talks about how this is connected. The whole not bad idea can be connected with good. Presence of, and then this one here is presence of sickness, bad. Presence of capacity of quick recovery, good. Absence of sickness, good. Absence of capacity of quick recovery, not bad. Okay, let me go to the other one. He talks about Christian Fega as well as Sienna Schifrin. Okay, this one. This one is Sienna Schifrin's. Scenario A: pure benefit bestowed. Presence of harm, bad. Presence of benefit, good. Pure benefit not bestowed. Presence of harm, absence of harm, good. Absence of pleasure, bad. Now he would debate it. He would debate on that one. Now this is Christian Fega's. Scenario A: preference exists. I like this one personally. Unsatisfied, bad. Satisfied, good. Preference does not exist. Good in itself. Now, the reason this is important, this whole the whole discussion of symmetry or asymmetry between pleasure and pain, is because if presence and pain were similar, then we would have pleasure, which would make all the pain and suffering in this world okay. And I'm not myself a antinatalist. I'm not. I believe that we should. I'm also a Christian. I'm just talking about how these arguments work and how I think that they're very convincing. And I'm gonna eventually form a refutation of this, but I think that these are very, very good arguments, and they should be not easily dismissed at all. These are not even they aren't even easily dismissible. I'm gonna go to another video.